As Chinese aggression continues to grow in the Indian Ocean, India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval will arrive in Sri Lanka today for a high-level regional maritime dialogue. This is the first foreign visit of Ajit Doval amid the COVID pandemic. Sri Lanka will be hosting the 4th National Security Advisor Trilateral meeting on maritime security cooperation with India and Maldives on 27th and 28th of November. The meeting will take place 6 years after the last meet. The first India-Maldives-Sri Lanka trilateral took place in 2011 in the Maldives, the second one in Sri Lanka in 2013, and the third one was held in India in the year 2014. National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is representing India, while Defence Secretary Major General Kamal Gunaratne is representing Sri Lanka and Defence Minister Maria Didi is representing Maldives. Bangladesh, Mauritius and Seychelles will be observing the trilateral meeting. India's External Affairs Ministry has called the Maritime Security Cooperation Meet an effective platform for cooperation among Indian Ocean countries, which will provide the participating nations an opportunity for discussion on issues pertaining to cooperation in maritime security in the Indian Ocean region. Maldives Foreign Secretary has said that the meeting will see discussion on quote-unquote most pressing issues surrounding maritime security in the Indian Ocean region, unquote. In the last few months, China has increased the presence of its vessels in the Indian Ocean region, a worrisome factor for several countries in the region. Apart from being a security concern, these Chinese vessels have been found indulging in illegal, unreported and unregulated activities. The Indian Ocean region sees about 80% of world trade, a substantial oil trade passing through these waters. It has 4 choke points, the most important being the Strait of Malacca, which, if disrupted, can lead to disruptions in global trade. Joining us on this broadcast this morning is WION's principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibbal. Siddhant, good morning. Just elaborate for our viewers, how significant is this visit by India's National Security Advisor to Sri Lanka for this trilateral meeting?
Well, Shobit, we have seen how the Chinese have been aggressive, how they are increasing their influence across the world and specifically Indian Ocean region. And we have seen how countries are coming together, whether it's the Quad grouping or whether it's this trilateral being revived so that India, Maldives and Sri Lanka can talk about issues of concern, issues which are concerning them, especially in terms of maritime domain. But we have seen how these countries are also increasing their engagement. In fact, if we talk about specifically Maldives, Maldives has signed an agreement, a defense agreement with the United States. In fact, the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo was on a week-long visit to Asia. We remember that he started his visit with India and visited both the countries, Sri Lanka and Maldives. In Maldives, he made a significant announcement that United States will open its mission there in Maldives. And if we look at the exclusive economic zone of Maldives, this is a huge real estate in the middle of Indian Ocean. And as you just mentioned, how crucial Indian Ocean is when it comes to global trade, global oil supply, and something that is going to be a domain of perhaps influence, of increased influence of other countries as well. So that is why this visit is a significant visit. Of course, this is the first visit amidst the COVID pandemic of the Indian National Security Advisor. And even as he will start his visit to Sri Lanka, we know that Indian Foreign Secretary is in Kathmandu, and the Indian External Affairs Minister is going to reach Seychelles today. So clearly, Indian Ocean is top priority for the policy makers here in Delhi, with 2 top officials from Delhi being in 2 Indian Ocean countries, whether it's Seychelles, whether it's Sri Lanka, and making sure that whether they need any kind of COVID aid or whether they need some kind of defense defense supplies, these supplies are fulfilled. In fact, when we talk about the COVID aid, India had provided medical aid, India had provided food aid to countries like Sri Lanka, to countries like Maldives, to Seychelles as part of its Mission Sagar 1. In fact, when it comes to Seychelles specifically, India had not only given it supplies but also made sure that if it needs any kind of human resource, that was also something of a top priority for policymakers here in Delhi.
Absolutely. Siddhant, you mentioned that, China has increased its activity in the Indian Ocean region. Now, we know that China has been making unsubstantiated claims over maritime territorial claims in in Southeast Asia, and several nations of Southeast Asia have raised concerns over that 9-dash line that China claims. Suddenly, China has increased its presence in the Indian Ocean region as well, and rightly so. We mentioned how 80% of global trade passes through these waters. India, like you mentioned, has taken an initiative to increase its partnership with the regional nations. Do South Asian nations expect India to take the lead as far as maritime security of the Indian Ocean region is concerned?
Well, India is indeed taking a major lead, but let me give you a broad picture of the Chinese presence in the Indian Ocean region. Roughly around 350 to 400 fishing vessels of the Chinese deep sea fishing vessels are present in the Indian Ocean region. Of course, they can't fish in the exclusive economic zone of countries in the Indian Ocean region, whether it's India, whether it's Sri Lanka and Maldives. That goes against international laws, but they can easily fish into areas which are international waters, especially when it comes to the northern Arabian Sea, because this is an area which has good, rich marine resources. And the problem is, through these illegal, unregulated fishing, the Chinese, what they do is they deplete the area of the marine resources. That, of course, impacts the nearby areas, including exclusive economic zone of countries, including of India. As far as India is concerned, after 26/11, what India did was to establish a center that keeps an eye on the movement of vessels in the Indian Ocean region. This center, of course, is based in Delhi suburb Gurgaon, and the center takes information from across the country and also gives information to like-minded countries like Sri Lanka, like Maldives. So clearly, India has emerged as a country that provides information, as provide data. In fact, coastal radar, India is in talks with several countries in the region to provide coastal radar, including with Seychelles. Coastal radar, what it does is to provide real-time information of these of movement across the Indian Ocean of these countries, exclusive economic zones of countries like Maldives, Sri Lanka, in fact Bangladesh as well. And of course, they share and make sure that there is no untoward incident. So clearly, India, along with its partner nations, have not only provided information but made sure that there is no reputation of terrorism or perhaps increased Chinese influence. In fact, at the center, which is near Delhi's suburb, that center has liaison officers as of now working, the liaison officers from United States, from Japan, and of course from other countries as well. And India do plan to increase the number of liaison officers, even especially from when it comes to its neighboring countries like Maldives, like Sri Lanka. COVID had in fact disrupted their arrival, and we do expect these liaison officers to take charge very soon.
So much for joining us this morning and getting us all the latest on this very crucial meeting.